Hello everyone and welcome back to HITC Football. I hope you're all having a great day. Yes, I'm wearing a hat because I desperately need a trim, and yes, my left eye is very red because I have hay fever. But welcome back to Hot Take Tuesdays, the second installment, and last week I'd like to thank you all so much for your hot takes, for your likes, for your comments. Greatly appreciated, and we're back again this week. So how does it work? Just in case you're not aware and it's the first time you're seeing this video, I go through all the comments in the previous video, Hot Take Tuesday, out every Tuesday at around 6 to 8 p.m. I pick out the best hot takes and I give them a rating out of 10. 1 being not too spicy and 10 being so hot you need to drink 3 litres of milk. So anyway, let's get into it. First hot take of the video, and we have Tuta Mine. Hot take: Vardy has actually been the best striker in the EPL since the 2015-2016 season. He was injured for a significant proportion of the season and somehow managed to score 15 goals. With the best 15 minutes per goal ratio in the EPL this season as well. He's only a couple years younger than Ronaldo too, and has been so consistent for the past 7 to 8 years. I think there's no disputing how good Vardy's been. I just think in some big games he hasn't always been there, so he's not held to that high stature. Obviously Ronaldo played a totally different position before he left to join Real Madrid from United, and since coming back he has played in the striker position. But Vardy is a fantastic player, is a fantastic striker. I wouldn't really call it a hot take. I wouldn't say they're best. You've had Gerrard that's been really good. You've had, God, so many strikers. We go through Harry Kane. Is Vardy better than Harry Kane, or has he been better than Harry Kane? Some seasons probably yes, but just in my opinion, decent hot take, not the best, one of the best, I agree. So I'll give you a 7.10. Next we have Andres Kellerman. Hot take: next season with Conte at the wheel for the full campaign, Spurs will challenge for the title and probably finish second. Ooh, that is a little bit hot, that is a little bit spicy. But I can see where you're coming from. Conte is a fantastic manager. Since coming in, he's managed to get Spurs from having quite a bad season all the way into qualifying for Europe. He's got a lot of money to spend at the moment as well. They're bringing in a lot of players this summer by the looks of it, and Conte knows how to invest his money. He's a very good manager. If he does stay and doesn't get tempted away to another club, I think you're not too far off. I don't think they'll challenge for the title, and I don't think they'll finish second. You still got to remember you've got Manchester City, you've got Liverpool, and then you've got the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, who are on the same par, if not and sometimes better. But I guess a full season and a full summer of Conte is good. It is hot. I don't think they'll challenge for the title. I think there'll be parts of the season where they're in the top 3 or the top 2. But I don't know. Can he do it with Tottenham? It's an interesting pick. It's an interesting take for me. I'm going to give you a 6 out of 10. Hot take: Gerrard is one of the most underrated strikers of all time. Seriously, I never understood the criticism he received. Gerrard is, I agree, that's not a hot take, that's facts. Gerrard is a fantastic player, always has been. Wasn't always the best for Arsenal, wasn't always the best for Chelsea. Even this season for AC, he hasn't been the best, but he'd score goals. It was even Hazard that said that there's no other striker that he'd rather play with than Gerrard. Just having someone big that's going to hold up the ball, and he was techie, you know what I mean? He was techie, he was technical. He'd get the ball into his chest, he'd chest it down, he'd header it down, he'd play off the ball to, maybe Willian on the right, to maybe Sanchez when he was at Arsenal on the left. He's very good at what he does. I think he's a player that a lot of clubs wouldn't mind having on the bench as a bench option, but I don't think he was ever going to be a well beater. He's definitely matured and got better with age, like a nice French cheese. But yeah, no, he is. I do think he's definitely one of the most underrated. I think a lot of people, I think Arsenal fans were like meh when he left. But then, when he went to Chelsea, we saw his qualities, We saw his qualities. It's not every day of the week we see some of the goals he scored, scoring hat-tricks and 4 goals against Seville in the Champions League. He's just good. He is good and he is underrated. So yeah, good hot take. Facts in my opinion. 8 out of 10, mate. Next up we have Home of Darts with Fred is Man United's best player and is top 3 DMs in the league alongside Rodri and Fabinho. The hate on him is ridiculous. I don't think he's as bad as people say, but he's not one of the top 3 DMs in the league. You're forgetting Rice, you're forgetting Kante, you're forgetting Bazuma down at Brighton, along with Rodri and Fabinho. I don't think he's better than any of them, but he's not bad. I think he has games where you're like, what are you doing? There's games where you're like, oh. But sometimes he's absolutely class. Sometimes he can be a really good player. So I do think the hate on him is a little bit too far, but I think that's just kind of Man United at the moment. You know, you could have an amazing game, be fantastic, and then the next game you could be just bog standard and you're crap out. You're the problem at the club. So I get where you're coming from, but for a hot take saying he's the top 3 DMs in the league alongside Rodri and Fabinho, good spicy, facts wise, nah, 4 out of 10, mate. Hot take, we have Victor Scafea. We got Victor. Ziyech is a better footballer than Chelsea is getting out of him right now. In the right role, he is a player with 10 goals and 10 assists in the Prem while tracking back as well. I believe so. I really, really do think so. I don't know what it is with Chelsea. He comes on, he'll be absolutely brilliant, win us a game, and then he will disappear. Tuchel won't play him, he'll come on in games, he won't do much. I get where you're coming from. I think Ziyech in Arsenal's system, or Ziyech even at a club like Villa, where he's a little bit more higher up the pecking order, could smash the Premier League. He's a great player. I don't think that anyone's got a better left foot. His crossing ability is insane, his free kicks are decent, he's lethal from outside the box when given an opportunity. He's a very, very good player, and that's a very, very good hot take. I think there is a possibility that he could be that level if he's at the right club and played in the right way, in the right system. So, fair enough. 7 out of 10, mate. Next we have Ecstatic Terms. Ben Foster, the cycling GK, will play for Real Madrid before he retire. Hey, Ben Foster. Ugh. Just no. Up next we have Mackie. Lampard was clear of Gerrard and Scholes. No. Going forward, yes. Lampard out of them 3 was the best going forward. For a box-to-box who you wanted to get goals from, he was the best at going forward from that position, without a doubt. He got 20 goals per season for I don't know how many seasons. Definitely going forward he was. Playmaking-wise, I'm going to have to give it to Scholes. I think Scholes' passing range was very good, and he'd see a lot of passes a lot of other players wouldn't. And Gerrard was just everything. He could defend the best out of the 3. He could, you know, pass reasonably well. He could score, but not at Lampard level, and wouldn't pass at Scholes level. So I think it's fair to say that for me, Gerrard is the more well-rounded out of all of them, but doesn't excel in any one thing. That's just my opinion. But Lampard was clear of Scholes and Gerrard. Good take, but no. Going forward, yes. So all in all, fair enough. Decent hot take. 5 out of 10. Moving on. I think Man United should have bought Jared Bowen instead of Jadon Sancho, because he would have been a cheaper buy and would have fit in on the right wing perfectly. Thank you for that, Visionary Football. And get out of here. No, I really think, personally, yeah. What would the price have been though? He's a good bit younger, Jadon Sancho. He has had a few good games, and we see it with Bundesliga players all the time. They come over from the Bundesliga, from Germany, over to the English Premier League, and they don't work out. We see it a lot of the time. It takes a lot of players time to settle, so we might see Sancho really rip it up next season, especially his second season there. There'll be a lot less pressure on him as well, I feel. And also as well, I think Erik ten Hag is the type of manager to get the best out of a young, exciting talent like Jadon Sancho. But yeah, it would have been a cheaper buy, and I think for that season when they bought him, I think you're right. I think that would have been better. But for now, with how it's worked out, I think they'd, you know, go, yeah, no, we'd rather do what they did. But yeah, no, Jared Bowen, incredibly overlooked, fantastic player. Moyes has really, really got the best out of him. I'm hoping he's going to rip it up for England now after his call-up. And yeah, no, good shout though, good shout. Visionary Football, 7 out of 10. Next we have Radharoon. He says, hot take, Revboiii is cute. Thank you. But no, I think you're wrong. I think you're really, really wrong. I think Revboiii isn't cute. I think his football knowledge is terrible. So this is a good hot take. I think all the picks he makes are brutal. He doesn't know anything about football at all. He just guesses the whole way through everything he does. He's not charismatic enough at all. He's just very dry and very boring. But look, if that's what you think, it's much appreciated. And if you like this video so far, please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And pretty please, we want this series to do well. Without a doubt we do. I want your hot takes. You want me to read them out. Let's do it. Get your hot takes right now down below, while also giving me your opinions on the hot takes that we've covered so far. Anyway, cracking in to Sinister. Sinister says, hot take, the real reason, I'm going to add that in there because it's a good title. The real reason Mbappé did not sign for Real Madrid was not due to a better contract offer from PSG or the vision, but rather due to uncertainty over Real Madrid's ability to maintain the standards set this season, with fear over he would be the main star of the team, which in my opinion he would not be. Real Madrid is a team, not a place for individual egos. probably putting him off the idea, just like he did Ronaldo before he left for Juventus. Some good shouts, and thanks for the great title. We'll get that in there somewhere, down below. I think the real reason is he loves Zidane, and I think Zidane is going to go to PSG at some point over this summer. I just see it happening, so yeah, that's just what I see. I think that's the main reason. I think the money, come on, the money he is on is mental, and yeah, no, I don't think he'd be worried about being the main star. If you're one of the best players in the world, you go and you be that wherever you go. Yeah, no, you have to be the main star, especially on that money. You have to be the main star, so he's going to be the main star at PSG. What's the difference, really? I know obviously Real Madrid are bigger historically and are a more respected club that play in a more competitive league. I think Mbappe, yeah, no, I just think it was a combination of all the money, Zidane coming in, and all the extra power he's been given. And he's still young enough where he can spend another 3 to 5 seasons somewhere and then go to Madrid, you know, and get more money then. Imagine the money he'll be on then. He'll probably be on like 5 million a week at that point. But yeah, no, Sinister, good take. Like what you're thinking, don't totally agree, 7 out of 10. Next we have Enrico Alfonso. Salah is one of the least technically gifted wingers in the Prem. Hasn't got half the ability Nani did. Major system player. That's why he don't perform for Egypt, unlike Mane for Senegal and Bale for Wales. Ooh, the spice on that one. A lot of Liverpool fans not going to be happy with that. I think Salah is perfect for Liverpool and Liverpool system. He is a very functional player. He's a Jurgen Klopp player, and he does that position perfectly. Now, is he technically gifted? Yeah, he is. You need to be technically gifted to beat a man. He beats defenders all the time. Beats them for dinner, left, right, centre. Beats them all the time. Some of the goals he scores are beautiful. You know what I mean? Outside the box, curves, finesse, like. But he's not one of the least technically gifted. He's not, you know, going to stand there and bust out a load of tricks and then beat a man. He beats a man usually on pace and maybe a little cutback or something, and he is extremely functional. For Egypt, no, he isn't fantastic for Egypt, but there's just some players that don't do it on a national stage but do it for their club. But he is definitely a very, I do get you when it comes to a system player. I don't really like the term system player, but he does play very well in that Liverpool system. So yeah, Enrico, good shout. Good to get a lot of spice on that one. That one's so spicy, my face is incredibly red right now, but 9 out of 10. Really good hot take. Next up, we have Animal Master, who was in last week's video as well. Even though Frank Lampard has saved Everton from relegation, I would say he has to be considered the most overrated manager of the decade, maybe of all time. This could be proven with what Tuchel did with Chelsea immediately after he left. Just because you played for said club does not automatically mean you are the best manager for the club. That's fair. That's a really good take, and that applies to a lot of teams. Lampard, I think, does get a lot of hate as a manager. Look, he's came in, he's kept him up, okay? I think it's because it's Frank Lampard, people are like, they expect so much. That's personally what I think, but I don't think he's a bad coach. He's kept him up. He got Chelsea Champions League. And Chelsea had a transfer embargo. He brought up them youngsters. 3 or 4 slots in that squad now are them players. Mount, James, Chalobah. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot there. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I think Lampard hasn't yet been in a position where he's gone, wow, that's really good. And I don't think he's been in a position where it's like really bad. Tuchel came in and he used a team that Lampard built. You know, he did make system changes and bits and pieces like that, but he did use the team that Lampard built. Lampard got him to that point in the Champions League from the season prior that Tuchel went on to win. So I don't know. And at Everton, that was tough to stay up. They were looking like the most promising team to go down with Watford and Norwich, but they stayed up. I just think we need to give Lampard more time. He's only coaching now 3 years. See how he does this season, and then we come back to this hot take. I think he needs a full season at a club where he's allowed to do what he wants to do, and then see where he takes them. Because if he takes a team from nearly avoiding relegation and takes everything back to where they were maybe a couple of years ago, well then, fair play, you can't call him a bad coach. But it is a good take. I do hear it a lot. I somewhat agree, somewhat don't agree. 5 out of 10. The last one, just after reading it, it's put a smile on my face for the outro, and it's Jeff Herms who said, I could watch Revboiii every day! Exclamation mark, smiley face, with little tears coming out as well. And if you feel the same way, which I hope you do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you leave your hot take down below. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave whatever you want. Just leave something. Don't leave this video without making your mark. But yeah, it's been me, Revboiii, with another Hot Take Tuesday. I hope you're enjoying the series. Make sure you let me know if you want me to try something else. Please let me know. Please leave your hot takes down in the comment section below. Who's been phenomenal. Next we have I need to go back again, sorry. due to uncertain. Oh, second. Has and on the also as well. Why not watch one of the other videos, which are going to be here on screen once I pull down the bar. You ready?